A very warm welcome to all our viewers. Welcome to the Sentinel's Newsmakers. My guest now is Mr. Bharat Bhushan Dev Choudhury, the Secretary General Administration Department, Government of Assam. He has been relieved of his charge as the Deputy Commissioner Nalbari just in June. He was also the Director at the Inland Waterways Transport sector of the Government of Assam. Mr. Choudhury, welcome to the Newsmakers from the House of Sentinel.
Good afternoon, everybody.
So now the responsibility that you have is to take care of all the districts, to look at their infrastructure, to see how things are being implemented. Now, the state, each district is faced with so many things: COVID, floods, Japanese encephalitis, a lot of erosion happening because of the heavy rains and the rivers swelling. So, it couldn't have got worse, I guess, than the times that every district, the state, is going through at this point of time. So, as the person responsible to take care of all districts, how are you handling the situation? How are the districts handling the situation?
Yeah, Oineetom. This district administration, and as such, the deputy commissioner has never thought that someday they will have to do such type of duties in relation to the handling the COVID situation. Generally, the district magistrate is concerned about the revenue administration and the developmental administration. More or less, all deputy commissioners are equipped to handle such situation. But COVID was something which was very unexpected, unpredictable, and full of uncertainties. No district administration official was equipped to handle such a situation. So this is the first time that any deputy commissioner has been facing such an situation which is unknown to the administrative machinery. However, as the Deputy Commissioner of Nalbari district, I'd like to share that Nalbari was the first district to have the COVID cases in the state. 4 of the Nizamuddin Jamati cases, 4 people from Uttar Pradesh, they landed up at Nalbari and they were staying at Nalbari. And when the news came that this COVID has started spreading from the Jamaat Tablighi of Nizamuddin, these 4 people were traced, tracked, and they were examined and they were found to be COVID positive cases. And again, I'd like to mention that Nalbari was the first district to declare a containment zone in the Mullapara, which lasted for more than 1.5 months. So, and it was the first district also to implement the Epidemic Act and the COVID Regulation Act in the state. So Nizamuddin was fine. The number was less. Only 4 people were tested positive. So we thought that it won't happen to us. It will happen to the only those who have attended the Jamaat at Nizamuddin. So we are safe. We thought that it will never reach Nalbari. However, slowly the movement was allowed. The government took steps to allow the people who were staying outside the state. Trains started, special trains started running to the state and Nalbari too. And many people started arriving at Nalbari. And suddenly we had to make many arrangements to have
just one more time, it's the internet that's really giving us a little bit trouble there. We hope to get Mr. Choudhury back soon. Viewers, just bear with me for a few seconds more. I'm hoping that the net connectivity will get restored. Okay, so looks like we will have to restart the thing again. All right, viewers, we are in conversation. In fact, I'm in conversation with Mr. Bharat Bhushan Dev Choudhury. He is currently the Secretary General Administration Department, Government of Assam. Till June, he was serving as the Deputy Commissioner of Nalbari. Now, as the Secretary of the General Administration Department, he is responsible to ensure that the infrastructure in every district is up to the mark. He's also responsible about taking care of or taking stock of the implementation of schemes and all of those stuff. So I think Mr. Choudhury is back. We had a little bit of a internet issue, which most of you have been facing in the past few days. Now that we have started doing things online, this is something that each of us, I'm sure, is facing at our workplace while doing stuff from home. So, Mr. Choudhury, good to have you back. I was just
Yeah.
sharing with the viewers, the internet connectivity issue that we have been facing of late, now that we are doing everything online. In fact, that brings me also to the thing that Prime Minister Narendra Modi always wanted India to go digital. Now, we are going digital, but we are facing all these issues every day as we try to do things online. Yes, Mr. Chaudhary,
Yeah.
you were
I,
sharing about the COVID cases and how things were handled during your
yeah.
tenure as the deputy commissioner there in
As
Nalbari.
I was referring, the initially the number was less and it was easier to handle.
Yeah.
Suddenly, people started arriving in our places in Nalbari also,
Mm.
and Nalbari
Mm.
lacked basic facilities. It's a small town and it's a
Yeah.
small district. We don't have
Yes.
large institutional arrangement. We have a civil hospital, but other hospitals are very ill equipped to handle such a large number of cases. So
Yeah.
in this scenario, when
Mm-hmm.
everything was full of uncertainties, it was
Yeah.
very important how we could predict the situation. What will be the exact number? What are the facilities we will be required to have to provide institutional quarantine once the people started arriving at Nalbari? Suddenly, uh, one fine morning, the special trains started arriving in Assam, and people from all over the states in India, they have reached their home destination in various places of the district, and we have to make arrangement for them in the for institutional quarantine.
Right.
So that was a very Herculean task. We have to provide separate bathroom facilities. We have to
Hmm.
build some improvised arrangement for them. We have to provide food to them. So it was very difficult, and the people were also not accustomed to such an arrangement. Once they have come closer to their home, but they can't go to their own
Right.
residence. They have to stay
Yes.
somewhere else. So it was a very uh, uh, this nobody could have imagined such situation they will have to
Absolutely.
face. So it
Right.
was a complete unknown to them. However, that phase also we have started handling well, and
Right.
Nalbari could do, and there was nothing like it. It did not spread to the rural areas as such, and we thought
Mhm.
that only the people who have come from outside, they will have the COVID positive cases,
Yeah.
and the numbers were was still very less. It was
Mhm.
manageable. We could provide them
Mhm.
hospital facilities, institutional quarantine, and all these things.
Right.
Suddenly, the flights also started coming. And
Yes.
Nalbari, being a district which is closer to Guwahati city,
Mhm.
and once the flights have started and more trains have started coming to the state, the numbers increased. And
Yeah.
80% of the young generation of Nalbari, they are engaged in various jobs in Guwahati city. So they daily visit Guwahati. They
Mm.
come by
Mm. Mhm.
buses and their own motorcycles and all scooters and all those things. And in the evening, they go back to their homes.
Yeah.
So the spreading started slowly, and numbers also started rising.
Mhm.
Initially, we planned that we'll be able to cope with the numbers in the district. We had somehow projected a figure for the district that such number will be there who will be ultimately uh, affected or infected by COVID. So we had facilities for almost 700 people in the civil hospital and the peripheral hospital, referral hospital, and the smaller hospital, public health center. We have made arrangement for that. Once the lockdown started and the government was also compelled to relax some of the conditions since the economy was suffering,
Right.
I was more worried as a deputy commissioner about the economy. I was
Hmm.
less worried about the COVID. I thought that
Right.
COVID will come and COVID will go, and it's not fatal for everyone. So if we
Mhm.
take a proper preventive care, we'll be able to handle it. But
Right.
once the economy collapses, once the people
Yeah.
are out of work, out of
Mm.
jobs, it will be very
Mhm.
difficult to handle the situation. So that is what concerned me the most. To
Right.
suddenly the relaxation also started, and once with the relaxation came the spreading, also mass spreading of COVID
Yes.
cases also there, so which you
Right.
can see now. So anyway, I have left the district, and things are being planned, and we could speculate, we could project what will be the situation, and it will spread to the rural areas also, and
Yeah.
ultimately nobody will be able to avoid this COVID spreads. And for your information, we four in the family have been infected by COVID, and now
Okay.
we all are under home quarantine. And from home quarantine, I am having this
Oh,
interview.
all right. All right. All right. Wish all of you a very speedy recovery. Wish you all four of you good health in the coming days. So,
Thank you.
Mr. Chaudhary, what about, it looks like every deputy commissioner is doing their bit. They are definitely doing their best trying to handle the situation. Now, as far as the rural health care facilities are concerned, what is your thought? Your, of course, you've been there, you've seen things from very close quarters. What do you think, what needs to be done so that in future, I hope nothing of this scale happens, but in case there's some, even otherwise, I mean, why wait for something like this to happen? We should be prepared. At least the rural areas, as far as the rural healthcare is concerned, and also the education space, these two things need a lot of focus.
Yeah, you're perfectly telling the right thing, because these are the two sectors where the
Hmm.
government should focus more, because
Yeah.
without health and without education,
Hmm.
when such a unknown or uncertain issue crops up,
Yeah.
no society or no government can control it unless it has basic and up to date and modern health facilities and the
Yes.
up to date education system. And
Hmm.
COVID has sent a signal to us that
Right.
this is the time you should focus on these two sectors, otherwise the entire generation will extinct. And rightly the government has taken steps, all the health infrastructure and logistic
Hmm. Hmm.
have been improved as such, and
Right.
more things are happening in the health sector, and the
Hmm.
shortage of manpower is also being looked into. And
Right.
side by side, how the education sector can be
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
mm, on the track, because
Yeah.
since COVID is an infectious disease, and we have this COVID protocol of social distancing and all these
Yeah.
things which have to be
Right.
followed so that it doesn't spread. So how
Hmm.
to maintain the education system? Government
Hmm.
have gone about the digital learning system. They have
Yeah.
initiated it, but we have seen that in the rural connectivity, in the beginning you have mentioned about the internet connectivity and all those things. So these things have to be improved, because learning in institution, in
Hmm.
school, colleges will no more be the same after the COVID.
Right.
We'll have
Right.
to find out some alternative method, alternative module, so that
Hmm.
the education doesn't stop, but the people start learning and going in the education scenario, having some alternative modes of education.
Absolutely. Yes. So now, in your current responsibility, what are the issues you see, that needs to be fixed as far as the district administration is concerned?
Yeah,
Be it
yeah. This
infrastructure.
I am
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Presently, I am the secretary of the General Administration Department, and the
Yes.
office and establishment of the Deputy Commissioner also comes under the General Administration
Right.
Department. So,
Right.
district administration and office of the Deputy Commissioner is what?
Mm.
It is concerned with the delivery of services to the citizens.
Yes.
So, the district administration should focus that
Mm.
how the services can be delivered online, so that there is
Okay.
no human interface. People don't have to
Mm.
come to the office, run after the files. They don't have
Mm.
to request the officers and the staff
Mm.
to,
Mm.
like that. They have to build up a system where online delivery of services,
Yeah.
citizen services, will
Yeah.
have to be ensured. And this
Mm.
is e-governance, and digital governance is the only way. And this will, I'm sure, after COVID, this is certainly be the norms of the district administration.
Right. But as of today, how prepared are our districts to do things online? I mean, the officials and also the people that you all are trying to reach out through, the government schemes and everything else. So, what about the officers? How prepared are they? And also the people, do they really understand? Do they really know how to use technology in the rural areas?
Yeah, this is the preparation has to be the preparation of the mindset. Actually, the system is there, but
Mm.
previously we used to go to the restaurant. we'll,
Mm.
we used to sit in the restaurant, have food there, and we discuss many things. Nowadays these things won't be there. After the COVID, we'll
Yeah.
order our things from the restaurant at home.
Yes.
Home delivery will be there. So it is the changing of the mindset. Otherwise there is nothing difficult in the digital system and the rural knowledge also. Even an
Okay.
illiterate person can
Mm.
use the mobile, and in the mobile
Mm.
itself, he or she can receive any service from the government. So the
Mhm.
preparation has to come, and it will come when there is no alternative. As even in the lockdown period, we have already adjusted, and we are getting adjusted to the system, that we can do everything from our home, provided there is strong connectivity and
Connectivity.
internet facilities that is there.
Right, right. So I think the telecom department has to really play a bigger role
Yeah,
at
they
this
have
point
to
of
take a
time. A
call in
lot.
this.
Yes, and also the service providers, the internet service providers. It's a
Sure.
lot riding on how they handle the situation at this point of time when the demand has been going up significantly. Now, you have also served as the director for the waterways, inland waterways transport department. We have, needless to say, starting with Brahmaputra, we have a lot of uh, rivers there. So, are we really tapping the potential as we should have been doing?
Yeah, Brahmaputra, there are rivers and there is Brahmaputra.
Yeah,
It's
right.
said
Yes,
like that.
that's yes, right. Hmm.
Brahmaputra is a different river.
Hmm.
You will find a river like Brahmaputra anywhere in the world. And
Hmm.
Brahmaputra is not just one river, it's a combination of many rivers.
Yeah.
Many rivers mingled with Brahmaputra, and in the
Hmm.
Brahmaputra, you have many rivers flowing
Hmm.
uh, along with it.
Yeah.
And though we had waterways history, a long history of waterways in Assam, of late, the importance of waterways has reduced once the this highways and east-west corridor has started, and
Mm-hmm.
there are
Mm-hmm.
some problems in the inland water ways in the state
Mm-hmm.
also. So
Right.
I'd like to highlight that Assam is like a fishbone. It's
Hmm.
like there is Brahmaputra and there are many rivers on the north bank and the south bank. And
Yeah.
previously, what waterways we thought about waterways, that it is like the running of the ferries only. It's
Yes.
at Guwahati, North Guwahati, Guwahati or Majuli, this
Hmm.
Nimati Ghat and Kamlabari. And in the rural areas, in the uh, smaller villages also, they use waterways. They
Hmm.
use a small boat, the country boat, to cross the river because there is no bridges out there to reach the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And in Brahmaputra, you can hardly find four bridges are there. So if it is 1,000 kilometer long in the state, so you have to move almost 250 kilometers to reach one bridge. In between, there is no bridge. So
Right.
in between, if you have to cross the river, the only way is to use the waterways, that is by
Hmm.
some boat or ferry.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
But unfortunately, that sector has been neglected. And
Mm-hmm.
Brahmaputra is such a river, heavy sedimentation is there.
Yeah.
And though the government has thought of dredging the river so that
Yeah.
large vessels, large ferries can be run, like roros and
Hmm.
all these large ships which can carry a large number of people and large number of cargo. But
Hmm.
it is also unpredictable whether we can dredge the Brahmaputra river smoothly for inland waterways, because
Okay.
sedimentation is such a thing. Once you
Right.
dredge a portion of the river, after 1 hour the same area will be sedimented.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
so whether it will be economically viable
Mm.
or commercially viable, so that's a big issue, and
Right.
government has to rethink on that. However, in the rural areas, we can
Mm.
provide the smaller
Mm-hmm.
vessels can easily run on shallow water. The river
Right.
uh, doesn't get to be dredged for that.
Okay.
Only when there is little water also on the river, the smaller
Yes.
vessels, small boats, they can run on the river, and the people can use that to cross the river, because inland waterways is related to the economy also. Certain
Right.
certain commodities on the north bank of river
Mm-hmm.
Brahmaputra, you will
Mm-hmm.
find in 15 rupees. Suppose once you cross the river on the other bank, south bank, it is 150 rupees. But the people cannot go to the other side because there is no connectivity, there is no boat, there is no ferries,
Yeah.
there is no vessel. If
Right.
they have to cross the river, they have to move 250 kilometers to reach the breezes. Either it is
Mm.
Kolia or
Mm.
Saraighat
Mm.
or Saratna at Gwalpara. Otherwise, there
Yeah.
is no, or Bogibel. So otherwise, there is no breezes on the Brahmaputra. So
Mm.
these things have to be thought of. And what I think ultimately, the inland waterways will have a great potential in the tourism sector. Tourism
Mm.
sector uh, can be developed. Water tourism or river tourism, it can bring money like anything to the Assam economy. And if it is utilized properly, I think that no youth of Assam will be without any employment, because tourism is such a sector. It
Yeah.
can grow like anything. There may be many people regarding tourism. Every sector is linked to tourism. The restaurant, food, travel, hospitality, dance, music, culture, dresses, market, everything can be on the river, and every young boy or girl of Assam can be engaged in the inland waterways sector. And
Right.
like a river cruise on Brahmaputra,
Mm.
anybody
Mm.
will dream about that, and having a look at the sunset or
Right.
sunrise or
Right.
a moonlit night. So
Yes.
any river tourism package can be thought of, like a honeymoon night, moonlit night,
Yes.
elderly people's river cruise, cruise, all these things, family cruise, everything.
Mm.
People in many countries are doing that, and I think Brahmaputra is such a river. It's unique, and it's the most beautiful river in the world, because you don't have the river bank as beautiful as Brahmaputra. You can have rivers in
Right.
other countries, but the river banks of Brahmaputra are the most beautiful thing in the world.
Right, right. Hopefully, in the coming days, because I believe there's a World Bank loan also to develop the waterways here in Assam that has come in. I'm sure you are aware of all of those stuff. So, yes, looking forward that things improve as far as the waterways situation is concerned. Now, what do you think? What are your thoughts on handling the floods and the erosion problem that Assam sees almost every year?
Yeah, flood, though everybody speaks about controlling the flood and having a
Mm.
permanent solution to the flood
Yeah.
problem. I don't think flood should not be treated as a problem. It's a blessing to us, because
Okay.
the flood rejuvenates the states, the
Hmm.
soil, the fertility. Had there been no flood in Assam, there
Hmm.
would not have been so much greenery and so much agriculture and all these things. So it's not the controlling of the flood; it is the regulating the flood. How we can
Right.
utilize the flood water to our advantage, because constructing some embankment, you cannot control or stop the damages caused by the flood. Flood will
Hmm.
come every year.
Mhm.
It's a natural phenomenon. How
Right.
you utilize the water resources as such
Mm.
to our benefits, that is what we should think about it. And most of the flood is there, but the damages are not caused by flood. It is caused by the man-made unwise decisions. People
Right.
have stopped the flow of water, natural channels which used to carry the water to
Hmm.
the rivers, other rivers, channelize the water properly in a scientific manner.
Hmm.
These things have stopped, and these have created problem actually.
Yes. Sorry for that little bit of interruption there. Yes. So you were saying that we really need to understand how to channelize the excess water that's there, and floods, of course, is a necessity. In fact, uh, we always tend to get worried about the flooding of Kaziranga. And in fact, one of the officials from the national park who was on this show, he also shared the same thoughts that floods are very much necessary, but just that we need to know how to handle uh, floods to our advantage. So
Exactly.
going back, yeah, going back to our conversation about the whole, situation in our districts. What are some of the thoughts that cross your mind, or you think going forward really needs fixing? Uh, some of the things could be livelihood opportunities for our rural youth, could be the education system. What are some of those things that you think needs a lot of fixing in our districts?
Yeah, I'll again take the example of Nalbari district. Nalbari
Yes.
is one of the most educated districts in the state,
Yeah.
and it has very thick population, and unemployment is rampant there. And what I have seen, that the agriculture and allied activities can be developed like anything, and
Mm-hmm.
fisheries, dairies, all these things, piggery, all these ancillary activities can be developed in such a manner, and it has a like a global market nowadays. There is, previously nobody used to go for agriculture. If anyone goes for agriculture, people don't respect him. he's treated like that. He didn't get a job, that's why he has
Has taken.
gone for
Yeah.
farming and all this thing. Now you have seen recently in the COVID, who are the most people benefited because of COVID?
True.
The pharmacy wala and this
Right.
vegetable wala. So
Yes.
these are the sectors, and agriculture is a resilient economy. Even there is recession in the entire world, only those countries, those states which have a robust agricultural or farming sector, they can only withstand the damages caused by a recession. And I have seen in Nalbari that gradually the educated youth have been inclined to be involved in the agricultural sector, and mainly fishery sector. Nalbari
Mhm.
is one of the major centers of fish seedling production, and it exports to all the states of India. That is another sector.
Right.
And integrated farming in a small area of land, they
Mhm.
can produce so many things that it is financially profitable, and it gives pleasure also, and you have an independent establishment. You don't have to work in an office under some bosses and all these things. So this is
Right.
a very pleasing to any individual to be involved in agricultural sector. And another sector which I have, in fact, I have discovered in Nalbari. Okay, you have been saying flood is a problem, but
Mhm.
flood is a major issue. So that is only for 4 to 5 months.
Right.
So the 7 months we are free.
Hmm.
7 months, if we utilize in a year when we don't have any flood, so there is tremendous potential for river bank tourism. The river banks are so beautiful in Assam, and
Mhm.
all the river banks can be utilized for integrated farming plus rural tourism. People would like to go there, people would like to stay there overnight, have the rural food, have a feeling of the rural culture and all these things. And in fact, I, along with some local youths of Nalbari, have developed a resort there. It is Ohua resort. This is the second
Okay.
year it will be starting. Last year, so it's nearer to the city. People,
Hmm.
families go there in their own vehicle, and they one night they can stay on the
Mhm.
riverside, clean, hygienic places, and the tent accommodation is there. They can enjoy the moonlit and evening
Hmm.
walk and everything. On elderly people can have their own time. There are all these elderly parents who are
Yeah.
staying in the city with their sons and daughters. They feel bored, they want to move out, and it's just a 40 minutes journey from Guwahati. So all these entire stretch of river banks can be developed as a river bank tourism sector with
Right.
farming and with
Hmm.
all the facilities where people can come and stay. So this can change the entire tourism sector in the state, and this will uh, really absorb the unemployment youth of
Yes.
the
Yes.
entire state.
Yes. I'm sure taking a cue from what you have done, the other deputy commissioners and other officials will definitely do something on similar lines and help address, the unemployment issue, as well as make our districts and towns look much better, more attractive, and tap all the potential that Assam has. Every district has something to offer, something unique to offer. So I'm sure a lot of good things will happen in the coming days. Mr. Choudhury, it was wonderful having you on the show, having discussed so many things across sectors, and wishing you and your family a speedy recovery once again. Thank you once again for being there on the show today. And thank you,
Thank you.
viewers, for watching. Thank you
Thank
so
you. It was
much.
wonderful to interact with all. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you. Take care.